with the both job. No getting paid properly and being abused. Ultimately, over a long period of time, I started to speak up myself, and ultimately I started an organization, Empower Sisters. I would look for women, like when I go to pick up the baby from the work I do, and in the school, I would ask if I see similar face and with a baby, I thought it's a babysitter, so I would talk to them. And such, like if they have a problem like I had, you know, believe me, nobody would open up mouth with me when I asked the question. They would say, no, I'm fine, this is like family, da-da-da. Like, you know, it's like money part, I wouldn't ask, but they would say very good. But then after 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, we became like a close. And then I had the story about the behind it. So they won't talk about it from the beginning. That's a culture. So that's kind of movement. When we started Andolan, we thought that's a movement we need. So we decided, other people also think that we need a movement from Andolans. And that's the name we pick up is like, what is the name meaning is? Andolan means movement in South Asian, so many languages. That's why Andolan's name see here. I think from watching the movie and hearing the other speaker also, you understood the problem of domestic workers. Our members deal with the abuses in the workplace every single day. Many are either not paid or are underpaid. Many work extended hour without rest or sleep. The hour is started like 6 or 5:30 in the morning. Think about you go to office, what time? 7 a.m., right? So you started from home, so count that way. So you can count the hour. You have a babysitter, you leave the babysitter at home. That's kind of where hour started until late night. When the guests come your home, and you know, endless work has to do. Almost everyone has to cook. And you hear the employer was saying, you know, we pay, we bring you from the country, so we use that thing. She was the one good one that she was talking about it. So that's kind of work. I would say just one incident happened with me as a worker. I was working in Long Island, and so that's a huge basement. Doctor family, I had to do everything. I was so nice. I said, I know sewing, I know ironing. I thought, let me make them happy. And they give me so much job to do it. And one day there was snow. I never see in my life the snow. I came from Bangladesh, and that snow made me terrible my job, because I tried to help. I said, can I help you? And then, yeah, sure. I started the job, and then every snow come, and I had to clean 2 car grass. And then one day I denied because I said I had a fever. And I didn't know how to shovel snow. I was doing it any way I can. And I hurt my back. Still I'm suffering. Right now, it's like 14, 15 years. Still I'm suffering. I told her, I told him, the husband was home, I cannot clean. And then he was so angry with me. Says, your sister is coming from work, and then 2 girls, home, and you cannot clean, so how she gonna enter the home? A lot of students knock the door, little baby who clean the home for little dollar, they also don't do it anymore because I was doing it. And I was shaking my body at night. I had a fever more, and they gave me just only Tylenol. And then the heating system was downstairs, was so bad because there wasn't any heat there. What happened, they gave me extra heater. I put it in my head side, my legs was like shaking like that. And then I put it in the leg side, and then my head was, cold. It wasn't enough because I had a fever also. Enter room was very cold. Think about not only myself, a lot of other people are in that situation, it's still now. I thought it's going to be end, but it is not, it still exists. So that's kind of work making me to become an organizer. And when we started working like a DW, started, when I was working in the park and asking for people also ask question, why you are here? You are not from our country. But that's the organization, and I feel everybody watching this video, listening to us, is not end. to helping these domestic workers' Bill of Rights, that should be end. And each of you to asking, look for your neighbor, look for your family, look for someone who hire a babysitter, tutor it, respect them. That's going to be start. That's going to be my success. That's like, my daughter. Each teach the younger to watch their parents, how they treat the babysitter. Thank you.
And next we'll be hearing from Priscilla Gonzalez, who is the Director of Domestic Workers United, an organization of nannies, housekeepers, and elderly caregivers organizing for power, respect, and fair labor standards, and to help build a movement for social change. From Priscilla, we'll be hearing more about the Domestic Workers' Bill of Rights. You've heard from everyone from the movie sort of the situation of domestic workers, and from Priscilla, you'll hear about the Bill of Rights, which is a bill, a way to make some change in a local way in New York State, but also a bit about other organizing and advocacy that's taking place at the federal level with the Department of Labor and at the international level with the International Labor Organization. Priscilla.
Thank you. How's everybody doing?
Okay.
Good. All right.
Thank you for having us.
So I have some great news to share, and that is that, as Nahar was just finishing saying, that domestic workers have been organizing, and the domestic workers movement is building momentum, and it's becoming a force to be reckoned with, which is great news and a long time coming. Domestic workers have been coming together to organize, to raise visibility, to bring the sector out of the shadows, as we've heard time and time again this evening, and to build power among this workforce that has been made invisible and vulnerable for too long. So I'm going to start out by actually talking about the National Domestic Workers Alliance that, together with Damayan and Andolan and sister organizations around the country, helped to form 2 years ago at the U.S. Social Forum. The Alliance is a vehicle for domestic workers to build power nationally as a workforce. We're organizing to improve the living and working conditions of domestic workers, to win respect and justice from employers and the government for exploited workers, to change the racism and the sexism that has led to the persistent devaluing of this labor so that dignity of domestic work is honored, to end the exclusion of domestic workers from recognition and protection, to build a movement of migrant workers to fight the labor displacement and exploitation created by globalization that Linda spoke about, and to continue a brave legacy of resistance by supporting movement building among domestic workers and other communities and workers in struggle. We've taken the last couple of years to build unity and to set up our infrastructure. The Alliance has a membership now of over 30 organizations in about 15 different countries, 15 different cities around the country. And currently we're advancing campaigns, as Araceli mentioned, on 3 different fronts: the local, national, and international. So Barbara spoke a little bit about the Domestic Workers' Bill of Rights that we've been fighting for here in New York State. And essentially it's calling for basic benefits like paid leave and notice and protection from discrimination that workers would otherwise be unable to negotiate for on their own.